What do you think of when you hear this?
This is the hell we create.
In this video, I'll be doing something slightly different. I'll be going over the chronology of the Hell We Create, which is a Fit for a King album that was released approximately 2 weeks ago on the 28th of October. So yeah, I will be starting off with obviously the intro of the album, fittingly named The Hell We Create.
Running straight into the end. Eradication, no more reason to pretend that we can save us.
Running straight into the end, eradication, no more reason to pretend that we can save us, but dying casually, poisoned by apathy. No one is saved, this is the Hell We Create. These lyrics and the song by extension basically establish the overall theme of the album, so to speak. The idea of like self-destruction and apathy towards oneself, or the idea of like, this feels like hell, I pretty much put myself here and there's not much I can do to get out of it, is basically what I'm getting out of this song and the album. Actually, it's like Christian somewhat solidifies that too, as in like the hell in this case would be one of a few things, such as the most obvious being a chaotic relationship, obviously, although I personally think it could extend beyond that, but I'd rather focus on that for at least this part of the video. The idea that a relationship is the hell you've created is like universal throughout the song. Like, for instance, in the song Fracture, this is so, how can I put it, this is where it's mostly transparent. But yeah, we are getting a bit ahead since that's towards the very end of the album, but keep that in mind.
The others.
This song is apparently about Ryan's wife's recent pursuit that I think she had like a stroke not so long ago, and was apparently a very emotional experience, as you can imagine, and its tone definitely reflects that. I'm not the most emotional human being out there, nor am I the most appreciating of my existence right now, so I'd rather say less about this song. However, the lyrics, a lifetime of moaning inside of me, rising so hard I can barely breathe, purpose replaced with doubt, blinded by the thought of a life without you, no one to. And perfectly encapsulate the overall emotion of this song and the events that like preceded it, as in, like I mentioned prior, the whole stroke thing, which I am pretty uncomfortable with talking about. So moving on.
It's like I'm falling through the sky, revolving like a satellite.
Ah yes, Falling Through the Sky. Now this is the song that got me hyped up every time I'd open my Instagram and see like sneak peek videos from Fit for a King at Apollosion, by the way. It has this lyric sequence earlier in the song which sounds straight out of like Dark Skies. Say that this is one of the songs that kind of stand out in the album while still having that Fit for a King sound at its best. The inclusion of the breakdown in the middle plays heavily into that too, which seeing Ryan pull off life is just yeah, just lyrically speaking, expressing devotion, frustration, anger at the thought of like going to hell, or rather being trapped in a situation such that you feel as if no matter how much you try or how hard you try to free yourself from that metaphorical hell, in this case, you just can't. And the closing segment sort of like plays into that heavily as well.
Running from reality, it's me against the gravity. Now I'm in too deep, sinking underneath the pain I hide behind you. So now I sink below.
Now, I like this one. I feel like there's not much I can say about it though. I just think it's a classic Fit for a King song that we've come to expect to some extent, and it's more or less a continuation of the previous song to some extent, as in falling to the sky. Now I sink below. So yeah, pretty transparent.
Every day I'm on
Now this is the song that we all heard first, and the only one that I purchased before the album dropped actually. I feel like when it dropped, it created the impression that Fit for a King were gonna be entering the Deathcore Olympics with this album, with the insane breakdown at the end of the song. Yeah, so considering that, I'm kinda glad they didn't actually, which may be a controversial opinion, but I'd say maybe this is my least favorite song in the entire album. I do appreciate its existence though, which helped me lower my expectations for the album, because it's not as good as like God of Fire or like The Face of Hate or even like Tower of Pain, even though I feel like they were going for something similar, at least considering their most recent releases, like ignoring Death Grip and before. And this is probably an unpopular opinion, but the bright side is that, I expected the album to be pretty average after hearing this, which made the impact of it hit even harder when I found out it wasn't. As in, like, I heard Reaper and I was like, this is a good song. But then once I knew they were making an album, I was like, if the entire album is gonna sound something like this, or is gonna be on this level, this quality, I don't think it's gonna be as good as even like another hot take, The Path, so to speak. Because I do think The Path is actually a great album, contrary to the to the pack, I guess, because I've heard around forums and shit that like The Path is not so good, which I get why, because it's more, although you could always say that Fit for a King has always been metalcore, but you can't argue that it does have a lot of like deathcore influence or like death metal, whatever you call it, on your side of the pond. But that album was more metalcore and less deathcore, with a few exceptions, obviously, like the ones I mentioned, like God of Fire, The Face of Hate, But I personally thought, after hearing Reaper, if the album is gonna sound something like this, it's probably not gonna be even as good as The Pet. So yeah, just how I feel. But like I said, when I found out that it wasn't it, but like I said, the bright side is that I expected the album to be pretty average, which made its impact hit even harder when I found out that it actually wasn't. I love the chants on this song. Now, this song takes a detour from the universal theme of the album a bit. It has a bit of an anti-authoritarian tone, both like lyrically and thematically, as the chanting could be interpreted as like a protest of sorts. I know you may think I'm reading way too much into this, but considering the current state of the world and the past 2 years, which was when this song would have been written, I'd say it's more so social commentary. I mean, listen to this.
We will rip you from your throne. By
It is literally a fuck you song. But I'll give Fit for a King some extra points for not going for the cancel culture bad nor the I support the current thing way, now that they've chose to make a song with social commentary undertones, so to speak. Plus, yeah, the feature, great song all around.
Oh yeah! I want you!
Eyes Roll Back, the best song on this record by my opinion, and if you think otherwise, you're wrong. It has those nasty, raspy vocals mixed with the aggressive drums, like the very, very aggressive riffs, and it's basically a masterpiece. I think this is where Trey's drumming really got to shine. Like if you said invent animate drums with Fit for a King vocals, this is exactly what I would expect. Which quick detour, in case you didn't know, the drummer who used to play with Fit for a King basically left. I don't remember which band did he join. I also can't remember his name, which makes me seem like a fake fan, but I don't care. And then they got Trey around the what was it called, the Dark Path tour early this year, around February this year, post COVID. Like, yeah, I think that was it. Around that time, it just doesn't matter, this is irrelevant. And I think this is where his drumming gets to shine the most, because it's just what you'd expect from him, considering if you've heard his previous work with like Invent Animate, like I've said. And the title alone is a nod to the album art, and the urgency in the vocals makes it all the more brutal. It just starts kicking for the first few like seconds and doesn't stop till the very end. I think this is definitely the album highlight, so to speak. Maybe along with like Falling Through the Sky and the intro, because the intro is pretty fucking amazing. And this again is my favorite song of the album, and it kind of reminds me of I don't know.
Coincidence? I think not! And I don't need you in my
Track number 8 is also an emotional one. It sort of picks up on Sing Below, but slower and a bit more emotional, like the lyrics, losing myself because I was holding on to the person I saw inside. Every lie you justified, now I'm leaving you behind. I don't need you in my life. Truly resonates with me, and probably a lot of people as well. I've been through such hell where you feel like you're forever compromising yourself to make someone else help you, or realizing that you're morphing into something else in the process. The realization which makes you just wanna tear down the walls and burn shit down, basically. I think it's a great song, especially because it's placed towards the very end of the album, which gives its emotional punch, so to speak, all the more impact to you as somebody who is listening, and you are well aware that it is towards the end. And again, well tied into the whole theme of the album, so to speak.
I know it can get easier. Just wish it was today.
Reaching Out sorta continues on this, so it makes sense that it's placed post to Fracture, kinda like Falling to the Sky and Sink Below. And I don't have much reservations about it, but I just think it does. It's not very good. I just think it does have like those the path influences, but not in a good way, which isn't bad. But like, I just feel like it would have been better off around like times like this, as that song is also more adjacent to the part and would kinda like integrate with Reaching Out more, but obviously is superior in comparison, even though that wouldn't be the best for continuation. Again, I just feel like due to its syncopation, so to speak, the syncopation would work better if Reaching Out was before or after times like this, rather than smack dead here, which is it's. I don't like it. It's not very good. I don't like it. And I'd also say maybe this is my second least favorite song in the album, which, if you've noticed, I've only named 2 songs as tracks that I didn't really like in this record, which those are the only 2. And I don't know, I just feel like I wanna say less about this one, considering how much I ripped on Reaper. So
Let down, dragged down in the pouring rain. Left to drown, I see it on their face. Every promise you have broken. Another crack forged in the foundation.
lastly, we have What You Left Behind. Now, this plays like a post-moment realization song, as in, now that I've suffered in the hell that we've created, what's left? The lyrics.
Awake in an empty tomb, floating echoes reside that were left by you. Living life in a circle, I feel you here, you're the toxin in this room. I can't run, I can't escape, until the day that you're away.
Sort of falls back into the pre-established theme of the album, as in, you can't help but get over whoever, but in this case you are actively seeking an escape route. The lines, maybe they'll hear us screaming from our lungs, maybe they'll see us standing on our graves fighting through our pain, indicates an extreme cry for help with the hope of salvation from this hell. It's a bit of an extreme way to end the album, but very fitting considering the song before it being, again, my second least favorite song. I appreciate that the outro just gets straight to the point and is pretty much fucking brutal about it. It's an amazing song, but I can't help but feel like I was a bit let down by how it ends abruptly. It doesn't end like abruptly in the way that you'd normally think, but it's fairly average for like Fit for a King standards. I'm pretty sure live they'd find a way to make it sound even nastier and slightly more brutal, but just listen to the outro of like Death Grip from the album Death Grip and tell me it doesn't sound like a death grip. But yeah, that's all I feel like is missing from the song. Rather than that, it's a great album outro overall. I'd say this is one of the best stuff. The album specifically. I'm not really sure how I'd rank Fit for a King albums in terms of like chronology, but I'd say this is between their second best and like their third best, with the absolute best being Dark Skies. And if you say otherwise, that's okay, because music is subjective, but I think you're wrong. But maybe that will be up to the next video or something. I had some fun with this video, and I'm thinking of uploading more of these like music kinda related videos, because like aside from the coding videos which haven't been taking off, and that is low-key concerning, but I will figure that out. I feel like I'm talking to a friend of mine with similar taste in music rather than someone who doesn't get it or just thinks it's like fucking noise or whatever. But yeah, hopefully this video won't get DMC'd. Hey, DMCA'd. I reckon Fit for a King is good enough, so I don't mind a copyright claim anyway. I don't make shit from these. So yeah, next video might be a Fit for a King album tier list or another album breakdown video. I don't know when though. Subscribe, but we'll try to figure that out. Don't even know when this is gonna be released, but if I am truthful to myself, on the 12th of November 2022. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and maybe another one like this will come. Subscribe though.